For 10 years, I believed I had the perfect marriage. My husband, James, was thoughtful, charming, and full of love. At least that's what I thought. He kissed me every morning before work, never forgot an anniversary, and always made me feel like I was the center of his world. We shared dreams, built a home together, and planned a future I thought was real. But behind every smile, every "I love you," he was hiding something that would destroy everything. It started with a message from a woman I didn't know. No words, just a photo. In it, James was sitting at a picnic table, holding a little boy who looked just like him. Beside him was a woman, resting her hand on his knee. The boy looked happy, so did James, and my heart felt like it stopped beating. I stared at that picture for what felt like forever. Then I messaged the woman. I asked, "Why did you send this?" Her reply was simple. "You deserve to know the truth." That was the moment everything changed. James came home late that night, just like every Wednesday. I didn't speak. I just handed him my phone and let him see the photo. His face went pale. His lips trembled. He didn't even try to lie. He just sat down and cried. Then came the truth. He told me he'd met the other woman before he met me, that she became pregnant unexpectedly, and he felt trapped between two lives. When he met me, he said he didn't know how to walk away from her, or from the child. So he did the unthinkable. He chose both. Two families, two homes, two lives. For 10 years, he lived in my world part-time, and in hers the rest. The late meetings, the business trips, the phone always face down. They were never about work. They were about keeping the lie alive. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't cry. I just sat there, empty. 10 years of love. 10 years of trust. 10 years of believing I was his only one. Gone in a single breath. The next morning, I drove to the address the woman had given me. I had to see it for myself. When I arrived, James was in the front yard, with the same boy. The other woman stepped out of the house behind them. They looked like a family. Real one. I was just the woman who didn't know. He saw me. His face twisted with guilt. The woman looked at me, then at him, and said, "You never told her?" That's when I realized she thought I knew. She believed she was the second wife. Not me. We were both living lies, just on opposite sides of his deception. Back at home, I felt the weight of every moment we'd shared. Every dinner, every laugh, every late night waiting for him to come home. I remembered how he told me he wasn't ready for kids, how he said work was too busy, how he said he wanted to focus on us. But all along he was raising a son, just not with me. I kept asking myself, was I not enough? Did I miss something? Was I blind? But the truth is, some people are just good liars. Some people can look you in the eye and tell you they love you, while living a second life right under your nose. He begged me not to leave. He said he'd choose me now, that he wanted to fix everything. But how do you fix a decade of lies? How do you rebuild a heart that's been shattered? I knew I deserved better. I knew I couldn't live wondering where he really was. So I packed my things. I left our home, the one I thought was built on love, and I filed for divorce. The other woman, she left him too. When she found out the full truth, that he'd been playing both of us, she was just as broken as I was. For a moment, we were two strangers united in pain. Two women who had trusted the same man, and lost everything. But here's what I want you to know. I didn't stay broken. First, I was lost. The silence in my new home was deafening. The bed felt too big. The mornings felt too quiet. I missed the routine, even though it had been a lie. But over time I began to heal. I started doing things just for me. Took long walks. I read novels I'd forgotten I loved. I traveled to places I'd only dreamed about. I started over, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. And slowly, I remembered who I was before him. Before the lies. Before the heartbreak. Today I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm just wiser. Love is beautiful, but only when it's honest. Trust is sacred, but only when it's earned. In pain, it's not the end. Sometimes, It's the beginning of something more real, more powerful, more you. If you're watching this and your heart is hurting, if someone betrayed you, lied to you, or broke your trust, please hear me. You are not stupid. You are not weak. You are not unlovable. You were just honest in a world full of masks. But now you get to choose. Choose yourself. Choose healing. Choose truth. Because the most powerful thing you can ever do is walk away from a lie and walk back into your own life, stronger, wiser, and finally, free. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, sometimes the hardest goodbye leads to the most beautiful new beginning.